Join me as I dive back into some classic games I haven't played in ages to see if they still hold up. Can I rediscover the magic, or will they fall flat? You know, I think it's easy to get caught up in the hype of new game releases, always looking forward to the next big thing. But in doing so, we often forget about the games that came before, the ones that helped shape our love for gaming in the first place. I'm guilty of it too. I'll catch myself scrolling through online stores, checking out the latest deals and discounts, and completely overlooking the classic titles that I used to love. It's like they become invisible, lost in the sea of new content. And it's not just me, I think this is a common trend among gamers. We get so caught up in the excitement of new games that we forget to appreciate the ones that came before. There are so many amazing games out there that deserve to be replayed and re-experienced, but they get lost in the noise of new releases. It's like we're always chasing the next high, the next big thrill, instead of taking the time to appreciate what we already have. And as a result, we forget just how enjoyable these classic games can be. As I started digging through my old game collection, I realized just how many amazing games I had forgotten about. Games that I used to play for hours on end, games that I loved and cherished. And it got me thinking, what if I went back and replayed some of these classics? Would they still hold up? Would they still be enjoyable? One game that immediately came to mind was The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I must have played through that game at least a dozen times, but it's been years since I last picked it up. I remember the sense of wonder and excitement as I explored Hyrule Field for the first time, the feeling of awe as I entered the Temple of Time. It's a game that has stuck with me all these years, and I was curious to see if it still had the same magic. As I started playing, it was like no time had passed at all. The game still felt just as engaging and immersive as it did all those years ago. The music, the graphics, the gameplay, it all still held up. And it got me thinking about other classic games that I had forgotten about, games like Super Mario 64, The Elder Scrolls III, Morrowind, and GoldenEye 007. One game that really stood out to me was GoldenEye 007. I must have spent hours playing that game with my friends, trying to beat each other's high scores and competing in split-screen multiplayer. It's a game that brings back so many fond memories, and playing it again was like reliving those moments all over again. But it wasn't just the gameplay that brought back memories, it was the whole experience. The feeling of sitting on the couch with my friends, laughing and joking as we played. It was the sense of community and camaraderie that came with playing games together. And it reminded me of just how important that is, the social aspect of gaming, the connections we make with others through our shared love of games. It's funny, I was worried that going back to these old games would be like revisiting an old flame, you know? You remember the good times, but the reality is that it's not as great as you remembered. But that wasn't the case at all. These games still hold up, they still bring joy and excitement, and they still evoke strong emotions. So let this be a reminder to all of us, don't forget about the classic games that brought us here. Take the time to go back and replay them, to re-experience the joy and excitement they brought. You might be surprised at just how much you still enjoy them. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are some of your favorite classic games? Do you still go back and play them from time to time? Let me know.